Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a little bit impromptu, but very excitingly, on Twitter yesterday I discovered the existence of another Kissing the Coronavirus book, and this time it's sapphic, which I think is the representation we all deserve. And so I'm going to be reading it today and we're going to discuss it. And yeah, so I've done a video already for the first Kissing the Coronavirus edition, which was hilarious. And it's one of those books which is just so absolutely terrible that you have a good time reading. I never read the second one, but I know my friend Sophia did, and some of her comments were so funny. And there was this line about getting your esophagus punctured, and it was taking me a while to work that one out, but then I realised it was like a blowjob. But anyway, so we're going to be reading the third one, and it's called The Mutant Strain. And the tagline, I can't get over the tagline. Okay, so I'm just kind of going to read it like while I'm filming, just so I can like comment directly. But I'll probably cut out the bits where I'm just reading. Okay, so the tagline is, they say the new strain is resistant to vaccines, but is it resistant to sex? Oh dear. Well, you know, it's a well-known medical fact that bacteria can't stand up to sex. Or not even bacteria, it's virus, isn't it? So me failed my medical degree. Yeah, so viruses, it's the way to defeat them, really. And oh my god, the dedication is for Chump, my beautiful boy, and I really hope that's a pet and not an actual child, because if it's an actual child, then I have many questions about why you would dedicate a book like this to them. Okay, so we're ready to get started, so yes. Oh, and before we start as well, when I was reading the Amazon description, one of the things was, like, many readers will be thankful to know this is the final book in the Kissing the Coronavirus series, which I just thought was so funny, and obviously shows that the author does not take this seriously, and I think that is what these books are about. They're like a joke. Okay, the first sentence is already a banger, so I'm gonna read the first sentence. Okay, so Dr. Amy Amison, what a name, couldn't stop thinking about the incredible sex she'd partaken in not 12 hours before. Honestly, I feel like this prose is a step up from book one. It was like the entire 4.5-minute act, that doesn't seem like a very long time, anyway, was permanently lodged in her temporal lobe, which is the part of your brain that stores memories, amazing sexual encounters included. Yeah, getting some revision in here for the temporal lobe. I like how it clarifies what that does. Dr. Amison knew that because she was a microbiologist and so had all sorts of intricate medical knowledge. I don't feel like knowing the temporal lobe that stores your memories is like super advanced knowledge, but okay. I'm just gonna be narrating this whole thing. So then now she's discovered that she's also can't stop thinking that she's just had a positive COVID test just 10 minutes after that erotically charged moment. So this is someone who's just had sex and then discovered that she had a positive COVID test. Oh dear. Oh, she said, and she's worried that she hasn't unwittingly spread the virus to others. So I think I appreciated this in book one as well, that the author does like talk about being careful with like spread and social distancing. Oh, blast her inability to control her vagina. Happens to the best of us, Dr. Amy Amison. Oh god. Just the thought of it sent her vagina spinning like a thing that spins a lot. Again, maybe I take back what I said about the prose. But also, they do kind of look like spinning tops, like from the diagrams. Anyway. She pummeled at her own breast and chomped on her lips. Her bum quivered. How does your bum quiver at the mere thought of what had happened? I'm not sure I would have used the bottom as the sexual object of choice in that sentence. So this is another one that starts out with the woman being super horny. At least this time she's not masturbating with test tubes containing coronavirus, but I'm sure it's going to get worse. So Anyway, another iconic sentence. It would simply have added to the cheekiness that made her pussy so wet it was like a sunburnt sea lion fresh out of the ocean. Where does she come up with these metaphors? I don't even know what a sunburnt sea lion looks like. Also, surely if you're sunburnt you'd get dehydrated. Surely as a microbiologist she would know that. But anyway. The sheer memory was enough to send an orgasm rippling through her body like her vagina had been filled with bees. Ouch! Yeah. I don't really have any comments on that sentence other than what the fuck. Okay, now we're getting started on the flashback. So obviously this is gonna flash us back to the amazing sex she just had. And I like how it clarifies it's the start of a flashback. It literally says start flashback. Okay, so we find out in this flashback she's on her way back on a flight, on the way back from this convention in microbiology. She's been discussing her work. And obviously she's already been blowing off these professors. Oh god! One of them is who she tried to suck off, but he is very old and couldn't become engorged. But this flashback isn't about him either. Oh, poor thing. Needs some Viagra. Okay. Oh, it was a who's who of celebrities from the microbiological world, which would often just end in science-fueled sex sessions. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I've only ever been to like sciencey conventions as a minor, but I'm still very sure that this does not happen. But I guess you never know. Oh god. And then now she's saying that because they have knowledge of the human anatomy inside and out, that they have to put it to use via sex. Oh dear. So we now learn that it wasn't the convention where she experienced her knee-knockingly world-shattering perception-altering organism. That sounds like Resand level to me. Okay, so we now find out it was actually on the flight, which was at 2:52, very specifically. Okay, so she's watching her favourite movie, Big Mama's House 2. That's an interesting movie title. Sipping a glass of Monet and eating some nuts. She was eating some nuts, wishing they were another sort of nut she could be chewing instead. In brackets, he. Like, that's as bad as me writing my reviews and putting he typed out. Okay, and now she's seen the air hostess who has a dark skirt on. And now Dr. Amyson is wondering if her vagina is the same shade as the skirt. Oh dear. So now we found out it's been 2 years since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. So this is set in the future, clearly. And so the sentences, it had been 2 years since the coronavirus pandemic had first snatched the lives and freedoms of so many people across the world and ruined Dr. Amyson's sex life, with wave after wave striking every few months. I think a lot of young people can probably relate to that, actually. Although, yeah, it's more important to stay safe, keep your distance. Okay, then so Dr. Amyson is obviously bisexual, and this is the description of it, which is iconic. Okay. And she didn't mind what she handled, not on whom. She was happy with her dick clumsily fucking her soapy tits. Like an eager Boy Scout cleaning a car windscreen with a slab of chorizo. A vagina rubbing gently against her forearm like a chewed beef burger, or anything in between. I think there's a lot to unpack there. Yeah. She just loved genitals. She loved touching genitals, kissing genitals, putting things right inside her own and of course other people's genitals. That was too many times. I mean, I'm a medical student so I can handle a lot, but that was too many times of the word genital. I can't get over that. Soapy tits like an eager Boy Scout cleaning a car windscreen with a slab of chorizo. That's like so many rapid changes in direction. It's wild. Okay, this is actually a pretty good pun. She'd been throat punched by two of the industry's biggest names, even if they weren't the biggest. She thought with a chuckling chuckle. Also, what the hell is a chuckling chuckle? She could have literally just said chuckle. Now there's a new coronavirus strain called the D1K, which is, if you read it, it says dick. They've been given the amusing nickname of the dick strain. Also, that is totally something scientists would do, like as a joke, because I think anyone who like discovers something gets to name it. Like my fun trivia fact is there's a gene in the brain called the like Sonic gene, or the Sonic the Hedgehog gene. I think it might be called the Hedgehog gene, but I don't know. So that's quite entertaining. A random science fact for you. Okay, so we found out this new strain is resistant to the vaccines. Okay, this is so funny. Usually during the flight home from Finland, Dr. Amyson would have to book 2 seats so she could sit legs akimbo and air out her vagina, which would be aching from all the hot sex she'd had. I feel so sorry for whoever's on that plane. Also, would you not be wearing pants? I don't know. Okay, now she's talking about the 5 orifices, which were what microbiologists like Dr. Amy called holes, which is true actually. The word for like that, the medical word for a hole is an orifice. I'm not sure why that was thrown in there. Oh dear. Okay, so now she's getting clumsily out of her seat, which obviously the heroine in every romance novel has to be clumsy. And her enormous and perfect breasts brushing the face of the old lady in the seat next to her. That poor lady. The old lady didn't seem to mind, and Dr. Amyson wouldn't have minded if she'd reciprocated either. Oh dear. Okay, so Dr. Amy is thinking that she is so sex deprived that she now wants to have sex with this poor old person. Which, first of all, old people are very sexually active. Like, rates of STIs are on the rise in that population. So if you're part of that population, make sure you're practicing safe sex. But also, Dr. Amy, get your horny in order. Oh, okay, she's going to horny jail now because she says if she had false teeth, she'd be good at licking her pussy like a dog licking the filling out of an Oreo. Oh god. I like how it clarifies she has amazing breasts. I like, that's facts that we need to know. Okay, so now she's gone to the loo and there is someone knocking on the door. Okay, so she opens the door and as she does, she gasps and feels a tingle in her vagina, like she just dipped it in vinegar. Why? Also, never put vinegar in your vagina because it will upset the delicate microorganism balance. That's another fact for you. Also, don't put water in your vagina because that will also upset things. Don't douche. Okay, so standing there was the air hostess in the burgundy skirt, who they'd had an encounter earlier, if we remember. She had a tiny upturned smile like a schoolgirl who thought she was doing something naughty, like using a calculator in an algebra test. I remember that just gives me memories of maths A level and having the one paper with your calculator and one paper without. But the one that you got the calculator for was always harder, so that was annoying. But to be honest, once you get to a certain level of maths, calculators, they're handy. Like, I guess you have to, some of it, but like algebra, you just end up using a calculator for like 3 + 4 to check things. Oh, now her breasts are quaking due to turbulence. Which, since this is set on an airplane, then fair enough. The air hostess has a French accent, obviously very sexy. Although I'm not sure why there's a French air hostess on a plane from Finland to America. So the quote is, I can help, like spell E-L-P, you whiz, W-I-Z, that is the A-T, or Z-A-T. I'm pretending I'm American now. I feel like this may be a slightly racist towards French people, but also I feel like French people deserve it, especially recently. Sorry if you're French. Slowly licking her lip like she just devoured a chicken wing. Okay, so now she traps her well, not traps. Now she comes into the toilet with Dr. Amy. Her nipples poked through her air hostess brows like she had brought in 2 extra peanuts, which Dr. Amy couldn't wait to masticate. These sentences just get better and better, honestly, and also more disturbing. Okay, so now the hostess dives vagina first, which I would like to see, like, towards Dr. Amy. So obviously this is their mind-blowing sexual encounter. So now they're kissing with their tongues, apparently, like electric eels battling for dominance inside a smooth pink cave. She really likes her like fishy metaphors, I feel like. And Dr. Amison felt her breasts inflate with anticipation as she snatched at her counterpart's boobies, which were equally as impressive. I wish my breasts would inflate. They might have a bit more oomph to them. Now she's ripping off the blouse and the buttons are flying off and shattering the bathroom window. Not the window, the mirror. It's getting wild. She buried her face between her titties, which were big and soft like ripened wheels of cheese. She could barely breathe, they were so nice. I'm not sure I'd want to compare anything like sexual to a ripened wheel of cheese. That just makes me think of like smelly cheese. Okay, so now Dr. Amy's knockers are being suckled like a vacuum cleaner on the highest setting. This is really getting intense. Okay, so now we found out she calls her vagina her pink surprise, which is a questionable choice. Like, why is it a surprise? Everyone has one. Well, everyone with a vagina has one. That doesn't make any sense. Half the population-ish have one. Okay. So now, before she even knew what was happening, the French vixen was Frenching her pussy, her tongue. I feel like that she was French purely so she could use that line. Okay, so now explosions are cracking all around her. Was she dying? No, she was living. That's like a great quote. Okay, so now she's having an orgasm. So this is only an entire football stadium's worth of excited fans. That's how it's described. So it's not quite mountain shaking level. And the air hostess says in a French accent, "Your vagina is very tasty." Oh. Okay, and then she couldn't believe it. An earth-shattering, brackets, or because she was in a plane, sky-shattering, haha, orgasm that made her for one brief moment consider asking this woman to be her wife. That's as bad as the first book, but also I feel like can relate because it's like a lesbian stereotype, the like first date and they're already planning the marriage. So clearly they're playing into that here. Okay, so now the French hostess is clearly feeling the same because she gives her email address. Why email? Why not just phone number? But also her email is, oh god, Busty French Beauty 69. I like how it clarifies the 69. That's the choice of numbers. I mean, was there really any other option though? At gmail.com. Right across Amy's buttery breasts. Now she's gone back to her seat. And 10 minutes later, she gets her text that she's got a positive result. Uh-oh. I love that an actual written line in the world of literature is, did she have the dick strain of the virus? Explain that to someone in 2019. Okay, so she's been vaccinated, so she thinks it must be the dick strain, and she's damning those microbiologists at the convention. Now she's worried because she's going to be the first person in America with this strain, and the press are going to eat her alive, which is scary. And now she's worried that her career is going to be over if this gets out. And the thing she's most worried about is that she's not going to be able to go to these microbiology conventions because of all the sex she's going to miss out on. Priorities. So now she's back in, it's the end of the flashback, and so she's back in wherever she was before, a canteen or something, and an intern has just come in with big tits, obviously, barely contained within her lab outfit, and plump lips that glisten like a droplet of water glistening in the desert sun. That's very classic metaphor there. Could like deep literally analysis this, like she's like gasping for water because she's so thirsty. I like how it keeps using medical terminology and then clarifying what it means. She says she felt absolutely fine, which meant she must have been asymptomatic, which is the word microbiologists use for people who are ill but feel fine. Is that not common knowledge? I feel like I find it really hard to know like what's normal knowledge and what's not, but I feel like asymptomatic, most people would know what that means. It's fairly self-explanatory. Okay, so now she's gone to the lab to find out if she's actually got COVID, so she's obviously using one of the machines. Okay, so we find out she is actually negative for COVID-19 and she doesn't have the Dick strain. Oh no! So she doesn't have the Dick strain, but she has a new variant called VG1NA, which is basically vagina. Oh, it was all worth it just for that line. Oh, she's patient number 1, the new vagina strain. I like how the machines just literally named this new strain for her. Okay, so now she sends an email to the air hostess, which again, she's being pretty responsible with her contact tracing. So saying that she's been tested positive for this new strain and she should self-isolate. And she signs it off with, "I'm sorry, my princess." Oh. Okay, so then the air hostess has also been diagnosed with coronavirus, apparently the Dick strain. Dr. Amison stared at the screen. She stared and stared and stared. What did this mean? And then all in caps lock. What did this mean? Suddenly her vagina twinged like she'd been stung by a lustful scorpion. Okay. Her breasts thundered like boulders clashing under a crescent moon. Why does her bottom keep puckering? That's so weird. Okay, this is quite the sentence. A ripple of intense pain and pleasure echoed throughout her body in a cataclysm of erroneous persuasion. Is that persuasion? Yeah, I think it is. She couldn't even describe. I mean, that's like a masterful sentence. It's so good I can't even comprehend what it means. Now she's run off and she's run into the intern and she's sweat pouring from her face like she just enjoyed a marathon sex session. Oh no, something bad's happening. She fell to the floor clutching her big, beautiful chest. Literally every opportunity the author has, we have to remember that she has nice tits. Every muscle in her body ached, but especially her vagina. Oh, we've got a cameo from the earlier people. Well, not a cameo, but they're mentioned. Okay, so now the two strains are combining inside her body, rocketing from her genitals to her brain and back again, splicing her cells with the virus, changing her very being from human to something else. So she's clearly transforming into this virus. Oh, this is a plot twist! The intern screamed a terrified scream as Dr. Amison's skin transformed into a deep crimson shade of red. Tiny bumps grew from her sin, which Dr. Amison recognised as protein spikes. She'd never seen them so clearly before, so closely, so sexy. Wait, she's just describing herself as sexy. Her laptop burst open. Her boobies now so big, so red, that just glancing at them was like staring into the centre of the sun. Okay, now she's describing her vagina, and it's thick, spelled THICC, which I'm sure she used in the first book as well. Slab of freshly butchered, high quality meat. Oh, God. Used pleasure fluid. Which the sexy intern couldn't resist. She dropped to her knees and began slurping at it like she had been shipwrecked on an island for weeks, and Dr. Amison's vagina was a delicious glass of Pepsi. I feel like I need to just take a minute after that. Oh no. So now her and the intern start kissing, and it says her tongue now comparable to a hairless ferret. A choice was made there. Snaking its way down the intern's throat, which she seemed to like a little bit. Power flowed through Dr. Amy's body like she was the Hoover Dam and Luster was the Colorado River. Oh, what a metaphor. I still don't know the difference between a metaphor and a simile. I think because it's like, then it's a simile, actually. We've got to be accurate here. Okay, so then she reaches climax and it says vaginal fluid erupting from her vagina like it was an Icelandic volcano eruption. Oh dear. Okay, so now they're scissoring. So you know this was written by a straight woman or man. Oh, so now this is even better than the time she watched porn with her ex-mother-in-law. That raises a lot of questions there. Now her orgasm is slamming her in the ovaries. That's an interesting choice of location. Oh no! Oh! See, now she's levelling up to Rhysand level. It says, until she made a roar so loud and grunty it shook the windows like an earthquake had shifted the very foundations of the building. Except it wasn't an earthquake, it was a pleasure quake. So now we all know what really happened in the mountains of the Night Court. Oh. Now they're leaving all the cleanup to the cleaners who are going to arrive in 20 minutes. Those poor cleaners. Both of them left with big... So now they say goodbye. She says goodbye to the intern. Both of them left with big broad smiles on their faces, bigger than all 4 of their tits combined. What a line. This is the last. We've reached the end, and this is the last line. She was a new strain. Clearly the vaccine could not contain it. But could she contain herself? She had her doubts. She was here to stay. Oh, I feel like, why do they end on such cliffhangers? Like, we're never gonna know how this vagina strain gets out in the world. And we've reached the end, sadly. Okay. So that's half an hour of my life and 99p that I'm never getting back. But to be honest, I think it was worth it. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, I think I'm going to try and upload this today because like it would take too long to edit. I can just edit bits out. I'm not a very complex editor. But yeah, and tomorrow it will be my wrap up, which I know is quite late, but I couldn't be bothered to edit it last weekend. So yeah, so I hope you're all having a great day, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Yeah, I will see you next time, tomorrow, I guess. Bye.